Hi gorgeous, it's Adele from Get Gorgeous. Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. Shock horror. Do you know who created the mantra that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Do you know who created that and when it happened? It was created by John Harvey Kelloggs, and the name is the clue. Why did he create this myth? You'd think it was something to do with your health and vitality, but no, it was something a lot quirkier. I'll tell you later on. Why has this myth become so popular? This vlog is going to explain the science behind how this has changed, how science has changed in the short term and in the long term. Cereal is not serving you a bowl of anything wholesome. Our science, our thinking behind this has changed radically. Now, I explain this fully in my new book. But updated versions of nutrition is moving so quickly. Prominent nutritionists, medical researchers are looking into how our body is adapting to the changes that we're making. Dr. Michael Mosley, he tells us this week that insulin makes you hungry and insulin makes you fat. Now, if you've been reading my blogs, watching my vlogs, you know how I've explained about insulin, and the higher your carbohydrate intake, the higher your glycemic index, then the higher the insulin level is going to be in your body. Research is proving that a high carbohydrate diet is causing health problems. Dr. Michael Mosley said this week that high insulin is causing a huge cell turnover, and it is actually creating a risk factor for cancer. Now, what I love about this is that we can change this. We can change our whole lifestyle, and we can change the risk factor, and we can do something about it. The medical world has changed. The last 50 years, we have seen health issues skyrocket. Dr. Mosley talks about a revolution in nutrition. Yay! Fantastic, because that is what is happening. The low-fat diet is causing increased toxicity to your body. There is a huge increase of diabetes, and Alzheimer's is going to outstrip diabetes in the next 25 years. Did you know that over 9,000 limbs are removed each year in the UK alone from diabetes? 4 million people, that's 6% of the population, are prescribed as diabetic. How many other people have the underlying cause of diabetes? Alzheimer's is going to triple. All these danger signs because of the way that we've been leading our lives and feeding ourselves. Dr. Mosley was talking about the public has to realise that the advice being offered by the NHS isn't necessarily working. That is a direct quote. Now, that might not seem very outrageous to you, but to me it is absolutely phenomenal. We have all listened so carefully to the Healthy Heart Diet, and the results have spoken for themselves. 4 million people with diabetes. So I've done the research, and I've chosen to take a little extract from the book, from my book. In 1994, the American Diabetes Association recommended the current guidelines, quoted that 60% of your calories should come from carbs. This is the Healthy Heart Diet. So between 1997 and 2007, the number of diagnoses of diabetes exploded. They tripled. As soon as these guidelines came in, diabetes exploded. So that's the statistical fact. So what can you do? Well, let's go back to the original question. Is breakfast the most important meal of your day? And I suggest no. I told you why, because it came from a publicity campaign from Kellogg's. He wasn't particularly interested in nurturing. He was more interesting in abstinence. I'm going to leave it at that. You can read the blog and you'll find out more about his rationale. So there is evidence now that ignoring your breakfast and intermittently fasting is going to help your body. This isn't so much true with children. Children are slightly different. They have been researched to say that a high sugar breakfast and then that postprandial dip is going to affect their cognitive work at school. But also, if they don't have that glucose dip, if they have eggs rather than cereal, then their results in tests are much, much better. Okay, so children are slightly different, but adults not so much. Intermittently fasting, the evidence proves that it is beautifully beneficial for your body. So there's two main sources of that research. The first one is autophagy. Your body, when it starts to fast, destroys damaged or redundant cell, and it does that in the stomach. So basically you start to digest bad cells. Brilliant. Apoptosis. This is when you rid yourself of old and unhealthy cells and then you replace them. And this happens when your body can divert its attention from digesting food and getting on with the day to looking after you, and it happens through fasting. So breakfast, not so much the most important meal of the day. Have a consideration for other things. If you want a helping hand, buy my book. Come to get-gorgeous.com/book and you'll find out more. I'm Adele from Get Gorgeous. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.